on day 2 trying to complete this fall cleanup of the island garden. I came home from work today and I mowed, got everything out there mowed, but then I started weeding. I didn't think you needed to see that because you know how to pull weeds. After mowing, I started out here weeding in this corner, and you can see it's a lot cleaner and neater. See all the little plants and individual plants now, and that edge is looking good coming along that I weed whacked yesterday. That edge is looking nice, straightened out some of the stone. You can see how much weeds I got out of this, just this corner here. There's a good bit in there. Definitely need a mulch next year, and that'll help with that problem. I also did some weeding on the peninsula side, but I'm gonna hold up on most of that until I tackle the whole thing at once. Puppy lost me, so he's running around trying to find me. There you are, pup. Now he saw me, he's gonna go back and hunt. He just likes to check in. We got some zinnias still blooming, so nice. But yeah, you can see how clean that is in there, all clean out here. And I need to come over here next. So I'm gonna finish up the evening because I don't feel like pulling any more weeds. I'm gonna finish up by reorganizing these heuchera. I'm just gonna move the dark purple heuchera down in here. See how the red one's right in front of the dark one? I want to move the dark one into the gap on each of these. So that'll just let them shine, see a little bit better from a distance, and I think I like it a little bit better because they're just getting hidden right now. So I need to move a few of those over, and then there's a bunch of weeding to do in there. I don't know, I want to break up the chore a little bit from just all weeding. So I think this is nice. Hosta blooming, gorgeous. So yeah, I'm gonna get started with transplanting these, moving them around a little bit, and then if I have enough energy, I'll go ahead and start weeding this corner as well. So no one is even gonna ever notice that I did that, but I do, and it was bothering me every day that I saw them, and I needed to get them kind of into the gaps of the red. So I think I like that a lot better. And if something's bothering you in the garden, you need to just go ahead and change it right away. But I've been wanting to change those since the spring. There was just other things that were more important to do. So now that I'm taking the time to do it, I think it's gonna look a lot nicer for the rest of the time that they grow in and fill in once they get a lot bigger. So it looks a lot better underneath the burning bush there, and yeah, I'm happy with it. Didn't take very long to dig them up with the hori-hori. Couldn't get the shovel in there because of the burning bush overhanging them, but I was able to use my hori-hori and go ahead and transplant them real quick. So that might be all for today. I'll come back maybe tomorrow and try and keep this going on. Maybe do some weeding here. Yeah, we'll do something else next time. Alright, I decided to go ahead and weed this corner anyway. Still had some time left here, daylight. Puppy was helping, so it went pretty quick, huh, pup? Yeah. So it's looking a lot nicer and cleaner out here. I'm gonna wait on digging up the yuccas. I'll do that tomorrow maybe. But yeah, got a lot of the weeding done today, which feels good. Getting everything cleaned up and not as cluttered around here. You see I got a nice big pile of weeds out here. Dug out all the roots that I could get with the hori-hori, and the whole island's starting to look a lot better. We are back out here on day 3 of the fall cleanup and reorganization of the island garden. This time we are going to be digging up all these irises and getting them transplanted, maybe even some gladiolas and lilies. We'll see how long these big patches of irises take, but I'm going to try and get all this transplanting done on the peninsula of the island done today, and we'll see how far I can get. But first, check this out. I have a ton of ladybugs, if you can see them. There's just a bunch of ladybugs falling out of this iris. You can see some crawling there. Got them right here. But yeah, ton of iris, or a ton of ladybugs coming out of the irises. Pretty cool. As you can tell, I got the first bunch of irises out, and I have one more bunch, two more bunch, three more bunch. You can see I got a good bit of irises out of that. I'll be able to split these roots up just like this one. Yeah, that's one iris, and I have all those in there. I can start separating out. They got real strong roots, so you can rip them out one by one, or you can just take the spade shovel, get in there and cut them. But you just want a decent tuber, at least that, and you'll definitely have another plant to start with. I'll leave probably a decent bunch so I can get good clumps. I'm gonna pick out 3 big clumps, use them in the island here, and then the rest I'm gonna have to find another place for them. Dug that one up, and I'm not gonna film me digging up the rest of them because this might take a minute and I might take some breaks. All right, we'll bring you back in a couple seconds to show you where everything's going. Right, pup? We're out here digging up irises, and we're almost done. I'm on the last one, and I just wanted to bring you in and show you how they grow. They got this cool braided look to them. You can see, and that's what happens when they start getting too bunched together. You can see they're starting to reach away from each other, and they'll create a big bare donut in the center, and that's when you know that they need to be split. So this one I have about dug out. I'm gonna get that pulled out of there and show you how I split it up. You gonna help, Pop? So we got it out, and it's too big. So what I'm gonna do is just take a regular spade shovel and put it right in between the center, shove it in with my foot, and then pry it apart. So that's how I do it. And you might end up with a dead one if you did catch it on the end of it, but honestly, you got a nice healthy bunch of iris there that's gonna go ahead and grow and start multiplying anyway. So instead of one big one, now I have 4 good sized chunks, and then I have a lot more. So what I'm gonna do is come in here, I'm gonna weed this out first so I can get a better look of the whole terrain here. Maybe even cut some of these flopped over zinnias out, just so it looks a little bit neater in here and I can get a better picture of what I'm working with. But I'm gonna go ahead and weed all this out, and then I'm gonna start figuring out where I'm gonna be placing all this stuff. Right, pup? Huh, pup? You get something in your ear, puppy? Why are you holding your ears weird? I got everything weeded out here, and now I'm ready to decide where to put my irises and gladiolas. So what I am thinking out here is a spot right here, because I have the nice big yellow Asiatic lilies popping up right there. So I have the irises plotted in right there, and I have gladiolas right here and there. So that'll be all 3 in a bunch. And then I have the yellow lily here and here. So I'm going to put the iris in the middle and the gladiola up there on the top that I can tie to that trellis if I need to, because they usually flop over. Puppy's marking my next spot for irises right here where his ball is. I'm going to put it there in between this and this Asiatic lily. And then I'll probably leave that bunch of gladiolas right there. I don't need to move it up to make it all perfectly the same. It's close enough. We'll still see the gladiola right there as it is. Puppy, go. I got all these weeds out and some of the zinnias that were falling over, and I'll be putting another iris clump right there in between the next set of lilies, which I also have a gladiola right beside it for color all season long. And then in this corner we have some smaller Asiatic lilies and the Blue Sea Erigeum right there. And of course we have the 6 or 7 hostas going along the front. If I have this right out here, I will be getting the allium first, which is all in there scattered. And then I will be getting the irises coming up after that. As the irises are finishing up, I will be seeing the lilies bloom. And when the lilies finish up, the gladiolas come in with the hostas as well. So everything's going to be carrying on color all season long. And then once we get into this time of year, I'll have my annuals big and full again, just like I do now, which are the zinnias. And who knows, I might actually get some late blooming irises again, like this one here. So that's awesome. I got a carpenter bee up there working on the zinnias, which is another reason to keep the color going as long as you can. But that's going to work out perfectly and hopefully have color all season long. The one other thing I have out here is lilies. These are daylilies, and I have that one, which is a nice maroon and yellow. But I also have 6 more daylilies that I will be scattering along the front here, and that'll give me all season color, like I've been saying. That's what I'm going for. I think that will be good for the whole next year. I won't have to do anything but plug in some zinnias, and I'll be good out here. The last thing I have out here is daylilies, and that is a yellowish maroon one. I have 6 more that'll be plugging out here, and that should give me a nice array of color, successive array of color up. And then I need to figure out a place for all these other irises, figure that out later. But that'll be awesome. Then this whole area island will be done and ready for the spring next year. I'll just have to come out here and mulch and put in a couple of the zinnias for the late season color like I'm getting now. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do that and show you when it's done. But first, I got all 4 iris clumps planted now. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow irises planted across the backside, along with the gladiolas. I got that one planted up against the stone, like I said. and all the lilies in between. This is gonna work out and look very nice all season long. Hump up. Now, if you'd like to see what happens with all these irises and how it looks whenever it's blooming next year, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button if you liked the video and got something out of it. Hump up. You did. Pup was helping, digging the holes, and definitely being moral support out here. It took a little bit longer than I thought to get it all weeded out and get everything cut back and transplanted, but I'm glad we got it done, me and Puppy out here. And I think the only other thing I want to do is get the hyacinths from my rose bed lined up along the pathway. But to see that, go ahead and subscribe down below and hit that like button before you leave. You can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.